Hey everyone, I'm Cecil Laird.
Fuego here.
And this is your Horror Show News Editorial Edition, found right here every single Friday where we discuss all of this week's horror news stories.
Yeah, this is where we get to loosen up our ties a bit and actually say what we really think about the stuff that we just got done covering for Kings of Horror. That's a little bit more prim and proper, but this is where we lay our opinions bare, and so I definitely have a very positive opinion about the lead-off story, which was the fact that we're still getting a Dark Tower television series, which is basically the prequel storyline that was explored in the Marvel Comics, which you're familiar with.
I am, and I don't know. I'm frankly surprised they're moving ahead with both. I don't know if the fan fever is there to sustain both.
I think it is.
Well, that's because you're like the biggest Stephen King fan. You're not representative of normal fans.
Yeah, it's true.
So I just don't think. I think one of them is probably not going to end up going like they think it is.
I'm just surprised it's still happening because the origins of this even being like a project was back when Ron Howard was still directing it, and it was supposed to be like fleshing out the backstory, which is in the first book and the fourth book, but it's all told in flashback. So they're like, instead of flashing back, let's just make it its own series, like a Game of Thrones type thing, which it's slightly reminiscent of, but I mean, you do make some good points about, is the interest really that deep?
I just don't know. Time will tell to see if they actually commit to it, and if they do, who knows? Maybe they both will succeed after a fashion. I don't. It's just surprising to me that they decided to go this way.
I'm just excited with the sheer fact that this Dark Tower film is supposed to be like a pseudo-sequel, which is not going to have any of that flashback stuff which was in the novels, and so I'd be sad if we never got to see it on screen. So if it happens, great, but I am a little skeptical like you, so even if I'm happy for it.
Interestingly enough, our second story also has to do with a movie series that is apparently got a series being developed, and they just announced that conversely to Dark Tower, a movie is officially, a sequel is coming as well.
Yeah.
So we know that Tremors is being created as a new TV series on Amazon, starring Kevin Bacon returning as his character Val McKee.
The Baconator!
Exactly, but actor Michael Gross said today that his character, Burt Gummer, last seen fighting alongside Jaime Kennedy against
a reality TV series
against large South African graboids in Tremors 5. Apparently, we are going to be getting a 6th installment, aka a sequel to that film, starring Burt Gummer and Jaime Kennedy, and utilizing the same director as the 5th movie as well, which, I gotta be honest, I really enjoyed the 5th movie, despite the lack of practical effects. It was still really entertaining as far as Tremors goes.
Yeah, I know you were ready to hate on Jaime Kennedy's performance, right? And he was actually funny.
Pretty, yeah, he was good. It was fun. You know, here's the thing. There's very specific personas of Jaime Kennedy that I don't like. And
Malibu's Most Wanted, anyway.
Right, that is one. And so sometimes he just rubs me the wrong way, but I loved him in Scream.
He's my favorite character in those movies.
Yeah, and I liked him a lot in Tremors 5, so I am much less skeptical about a Tremors 6.
I'm stoked for a Tremors 6, but my hope is that they cross the streams between the TV series, and you don't think so? You don't think they might throw those characters in there?
You know what? Because Burt existed in the original iteration as well, they definitely can. But it would be a nice surprise.
Yeah.
I don't know that they would do it in the first season, though.
I think they might. I don't think Bacon's going to show up on the 6th film, but I think there's a good chance.
Although that would be a cool way to lead into the series as well. Yeah. Like, you know, maybe Val shows up and tells Burt, "We need you back in perfection."
After credits, man.
Something like that. Yeah, exactly.
So there's potential here,
right? There is. You know, my graboid fanboy gland is going wild.
Yeah, well, my fanboy glands were going wild when I found out that we are getting not another Turbo Kid film proper, which kind of disappoints us a little bit, but the fact that there is a music video by Les Matos, I believe is the name of the group, and they're a French-Canadian band that did the soundtrack for the film, which was just this throbbing throwback awesomeness and got me like bopping and bumping, and they've essentially fleshed out the backstory of Apple, which is played by the lovely Lawrence LaBouffe.
The standout of Turbo Kid, for sure.
Hands down. So they're giving a little backstory to her, which is gory and gleeful, and we have yet to watch it, but I think that it's definitely going to be on the agenda right here after the news. The story just broke today.
Absolutely. I'm definitely excited to watch it. Maybe we'll do a reaction for the channel, so
I think
stay
we should.
tuned.
Yeah,
I think
that's
we should
a good
definitely
idea.
do that. So
from the same director as the films and the shorts. So.
Yeah, I think that's on the agenda now, so I'm excited to see that as well. And if you guys want to see what we think of that short, then head on over to that reaction. We'll put it up. I'll make sure it's up by the time this goes up.
Okay,
so
cool.
Yeah, we can do that. Now, my second story is the fact that American Horror Story is telling us we're only 3 episodes into this new season, and they say in another 3 episodes there's going to be a dramatic change in the series.
Well, they had all those differing teasers, right, trying to throw people off the scent, so maybe that's not that shocking, right?
Yeah, it's really not. And the fact that there's usually a big midpoint turn for the series anyway. In Freak Show, it was when Twisty got offed. That was a big change.
Which broke your heart, right?
Yeah, it really did. I mean, so they have done these sort of midpoint shifts before, but to actually say that what you think you're watching is not what you're watching, it's like, okay, well, what is it like a Cabin in the Woods holodeck situation that we're watching, or who knows? There's so many things it absolutely could be.
It could
just
be like
makes
the
me...
story within a story,
right?
Like, you know, maybe they are on a set, or maybe it is like something being filmed and they pull the curtain back a little bit, like certain theories were floating around about. But who knows, right? As long as the series is entertaining thus far, you've liked it so far, right?
Oh yeah. I actually really like the sort of paranormal witness idea that they went with. So to see that that's going to maybe go away 5 episodes in, you know, maybe it will have worn out its welcome by then, and it will be a well-paced decision by the series creators. I mean, I have faith in them. Ryan Murphy says that he wants to go another 2 seasons after this one and then end the show and have some kind of big wrap-up, you know? Well, that's good because this is a tighter season. This is only 10 episodes as opposed to the usual, I think, 12 or 13 that they do.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I very much might be, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. And so they said episodes 1 through 5 are a thing, 6 through 9 are a thing, and then 10 is its own thing. So
I just know it's breaking records for viewership at FX right now, so I know they would be sad to see it go.
Oh, it's breaking records for viewership right here on the Horror Show, because we did a episode 1 reaction, which you can check out, where we watched it live. It's a half-hour episode where you can see us talk while we're actually experiencing it for the first time. We're going to do the same thing for this page-turning episode number 6, and then we'll also do it for episode 10. So if you're into watching TV episode reactions, stay tuned. You're going to see more, and check out that episode because it was a good one. Fuego, what's next?
Well, we got the last story that I'm reporting on, which is Paramount Pictures. They put out a press release saying, hey, 2 of our franchise reboots are getting delayed again. The 4th delay for Friday the 13th, the 3rd delay for Rings. Now, in the story, I said the Friday the 13th story makes sense because they haven't even started shooting yet. Rings, on the other hand, has been done for a year, and they keep pushing it. They are scared to show audiences this movie.
I don't understand why.
The trailer looked pretty good.
The trailer did look good, but hey, maybe they spun gold out of caca. I don't know.
Like when she's taking the string out of her throat.
So I mean, I don't know. It's sad though, because put it out there, and if it doesn't do, you know, it's going to make at least its money back. Yeah. And if it's not great, then put the effort into the next one and make it better. Don't keep putting this off and putting these bad ideas in people's head, or maybe trying to do reshoots to salvage it, which, I don't know, sometimes that can work, but most times it doesn't.
It's like the creature's suffering, just put it out of its misery, man, you know? And it doesn't make sense to me for the sheer fact that October is pretty desolate for horror films. I think Ouija, The Origin or whatever, is the only other one coming out, so wouldn't it have made more money in the scary month of October, where people are like, I need to see something scary, I don't care how bad it is, they're less judgmental.
Rather than
February
Dead Zone,
the February Dead Zone, where they send movies to die.
Well, until Deadpool. Deadpool changed that this year.
Yeah, and actually Dark Tower that we were talking about earlier is coming out February 17th.
So who knows?
I'm wondering if that film is going to get delayed, not to shift stories.
Well, maybe they just wanted a bigger horror presence in February, since February is becoming a bigger month for movies. But
a little bit.
I tell you, I'm not too worried about the Friday the 13th because I want them to get that right. Yeah. But we will still be getting some form of Friday the 13th property this year because we're going to be getting that game.
The game looks great. We did a reaction to some of the best kills in that. They look gruesome, man.
It looks like it's going to be a good fun. So at least we'll get some sort of Jason action this year. Now, moving from Jason over to the other classic horror franchise, or a other classic horror franchise, Halloween. Have you guys heard about this stuff with John Carpenter calling Rob Zombie a lying piece of shit? I mean, it's pretty crazy. These are quotes, man. You know, that's what he said. And the interesting thing is, he said that Rob Zombie had talked about him being cold when he met him, or told him he was going to be making the remake. And even Carpenter's quote, like, to me, I'll pull the exact quote right here. Carpenter said, he said, I was very cold to him when he told me I was going to make it. Nothing could be further from the truth. I said, make it your own movie, man. This is yours now. Don't worry about me.
Oh, he made it his own. It's very divisive film.
But the point is, when you take that quote into account, think about it. Rob Zombie has just told him, hey, man, I'm going to be remaking one of the most classic movies of all time, your baby. What do you think about that? If his response isn't, hey man, go for it, you know, I'm giving you my support. If instead he says, make it your own movie, man. This is yours now. Don't worry about me. I could see how that could come off as cold, especially considering Carpenter actually has a bit of a reputation for being colder and
a little more sullen and stern and all that.
And one not to mince words at all, you know? And so, who knows? I think maybe he's remembering it slightly differently. And not necessarily, I'm willing to bet that Rob Zombie remembers the exact same words that he's saying he said, but the tone is probably remembered much differently on Zombie's side. So I'm not ready to just automatically believe that Rob Zombie, you know, is a lying piece of shit.
Or to side with either one of them in the midst of this. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall for that conversation, but, you know, since nobody was, I guess we'll never know. But the thing is, Zombies films were, people loved them or hated them, you know, and not just that the Halloween films, I think in general. There's always an opinion about them, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the other thing he had to say about the Halloween remake was, if you wanted a more specific answer to what he thought about the remake, it's that he didn't like the fact that he gave Michael Myers the backstory. He said he wanted Michael Myers to be a force of nature, an unexplainable force of nature.
They made him sympathetic.
Well, the fact, not necessarily even sympathetic because he was still a murderer, but the fact that they gave him the origin that Carpenter wanted to remain a mystery. That's what bothered him about it. And that's what bothered a lot of people about the movie, quite frankly.
Well, he's a mysterious killer that doesn't talk and just goes after people, so I guess I can understand that whole element of, you know, the eerie mystery and whatnot being lost with that sort of backstory.
He also said he was too big. He was too big in the remake. Although I just think that lends to his ominousness. I can see what he's saying, though. Again, if he wanted him to just be a normal dude in overalls and a mask, you know, then I can see why being too big might be a turnoff too, because it's, you know, that's just wasn't Carpenter's vision. So,
well, different vision, man. It's almost like, hey, your daughter goes off and marries someone, and they take their last name, and they're going to become a different person, but you're still sad about seeing your baby go, and you know, but hey, life goes on, to quote Tupac.
Exactly,
so
and you still have the home videos, a.k.a. the original movie, to watch anytime you want. So,
yeah, exactly.
So I think that's going to pretty much do it with our editorializing on this week's stories. Make sure you guys, if you want to watch the news every Friday, you can check out the stories in proper, youtube.com/thekingsofhorror. So, of course, that's where you can watch us do it nightly news style. Uh-oh, our skeleton man is falling, which is actually a good segue to talk about what is this, Fuego? It's something that was provided to us.
He was moving all by himself, and we got to give a gracias to Mr. Chad Shea, who is the author of The Skeleton in the Closet. So if you've ever heard of The Elf on the Shelf, you need something similar for October, right? And
exactly.
Yeah, he's got some amazing original watercolor images in this children's book that is quickly, hopefully, in his opinion, at least going to become an annual tradition for all scare lovers across the world.
And us being horror lovers and a horror show, how could we pass up an opportunity to grab one and put it on display here on the channel? Because he is fully posable, and he'll even stand, and he can hold things for your kids and stuff. Like give them their costumes every year and
not
whatnot.
Even your kids. Play pranks on your frat buddies or, you know, the guy at the office that's your equivalent of Dwight Schrute. I don't know. Do your thing, man.
Exactly. So shout out to Chad. Thanks very much. And if you guys want one, reach out to Chad on Facebook. Search for Skeleton in the Closet on Google, and you'll be able to find him and get one for yourself. But thanks very much for watching, you guys. Until next Friday, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, I've been Jaime and Fuego.
And until then, remember, stay scared.